All right, so hopefully everything's all good on Ilford's end, and we are now in game number 2 for BacT and ACCM versus DauT and the Viper. And would you look at that scoreboard? DauT and Viper losing that first game on Coastal after a very, very aggressive display from BacT and ACCM. But now we're moving into Migration, which is game number 2 here, and this is going to be a very different in the blue, we have BacT playing as the Persians, and his teammates to the southeast in the purple, we have ACCM as the Japanese. These guys representing the old civs. Right here, we have also KillerB, and I'll let him introduce Viper and DauT.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Welcome. Game number 2 of a best of 3 here. We've got, as Zero was just saying, we've got Viper and DauT versus BacT and ACCM. I am looking at the yellow player at the moment, who is the Viper. He's going to be in the eastern part of the map. Viper's going to be playing as Italians here. In the previous round, we saw Viper and DauT on a water map choose Italians for the Viper and Portuguese for DauT, and we're going to see the exact same choices in this game. That is because those civs work really great on water maps. We'll see those Italians with the age upgrade bonus. They have a dock tech bonus, which is cheaper as well. And we'll see Portuguese saving gold on all units and ships with higher HP. Together, those guys are going to be really formidable as this game moves on. Of course, we'll see DauT in the northern part of the map playing in the red. I should introduce his map as well. You'll see all of these players having a large gold pile, a large stone pile at home, a couple of decent wood lines, but the goal of the game, if it goes long, is to migrate to that central island and start taking over the resources in the middle. So we'll see first who wins water, and second who wins the land if the game goes that long.
Yeah, I do think that Viper and DauT possibly have the strongest combination of civs out of the new civs here on this map. The Italians advance to the next age 15% cheaper. It's a wonderful bonus to have when you're on a map like Migration and the resources are so low. So that's really nice as well. And I think it's so good. But I really want to bring attention to the fact that BacT and ACCM have chosen a very different style of civs here, Persians and Japanese, instead of your usual sort of Mongols, Vikings, Huns, which you would most typically see on a water map. And I think that just goes to show that players are really devaluing the Vikings as they don't get the fire galley, and it's such an important unit to miss out on that the Vikings, I feel, aren't even a tier 1 water civ anymore. What's going on? Why that doesn't make any sense, but I think they've made a good choice with these civs, to be honest.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think it's a good choice as well. It's going to be an interesting game. As we said before, Viper and DauT at risk of being eliminated here. But they probably combined have more water experience than anybody in this tournament. I don't think there's anybody who's really going to be as good on water as Viper and DauT. So we shall see if they can take advantage of that increased experience to get a win here and send this to a third and decisive game.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that Migration is one of those maps as well where you don't need an all-out water civ. Like, okay, it's good to have a water civ, obviously, but bear in mind that in the mid game to the late game, there is going to be a big transition onto the land as well. And that's where, of course, the Persians and the Japanese are also going to fare very well as they move into that center of the map. Cavalier and Paladin, and then of course you could take the Japanese going into like Arbalest to support that, and you could have a lot of and of course their trebuchets as well, which is super strong. You could use that in combination to take control of the center very nicely as well in the late game. So that's also worth keeping in mind. But for now, obviously, it's all about that build-up and seeing how these guys will be able to get to the feudal age and how they'll manage with this lack of resources to start with. And one of the coping mechanisms with the lack of resources, of course, is pushing the deer in towards the TC with the scout cavalry. Now, looking at everybody's map, it does seem like the deer aren't proving to be too troublesome. If we remember the migration game between DauT and Viper and Hart and Leary, we saw Hart have a very horrible start due to the fact that he just couldn't get the deer in towards his TC. And that can really throw a big spanner in the works if you're trying for a fast feudal age time. This time around, we're not seeing any of those problems. So
Yeah.
Viper here Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, I was just going to say for the moment, it is looking like nobody's made any errors that I can see. But you were looking at the Vipers map.
Yeah, I was going to say he's moving out to the berries now, and if you can avoid it, you really don't want to be building a mill on those berries, and that's exactly what Viper is doing. He's moving over to the berries. He's going to take just the right amount of food to get to the feudal age, and then he's going to put the villagers in the TC and send them out to wood, saving the 100 wood on the mill, meaning that he's going to have 100 extra wood in the bank to build his second dock a little quicker, to start investing into ships with, and I think that's really an important thing that Viper did right there. If we look at DauT on the other... sorry? Oh, it's 8 minutes and 30 right now. So DauT moving over to build a mill, and that's a different story altogether over there. He's still in the Dark Age, he's got 200 food in the bank, he's had to build the mill now, berries gather incredibly slowly, and that's going to really slow down DauT's feudal age time, and it's going to cost him the wood from the mill. So quite a big difference if you compare the Viper and DauT straight up right here. Anyone else up to feudal yet? It looks like BacT and ACCM are.
Yeah, I agree on the mill. It's a very good point. And in addition, the Viper's going to have a natural map advantage that his TC is just so close to his main gold. He's not even going to have to build a mining camp early in this game, and that's going to save him more resources as well. So expect to see the Viper maybe be the player with the most resource to spend on water here in this early game.
Yeah, exactly, and that's so nice for him as well, having that gold so close, like you said. He's really just making all of those savings, and look at his wood count right now, 300 wood as he goes to the feudal age, and he's already got 3 docks up. That's incredible. Fire ships now coming out for the Viper, and he's actually pretty close to ACCM. The way that the map is generated means that he doesn't have to travel a huge distance to get to his opponent, and his opponent has conveniently, I guess, but put his fishing ship and Viper's going to be heading over there after a very quick feudal time. Though I also want to add, BacT's feudal time was also very solid. He did advance a little bit later than Viper, but not by much, and he is now adding his 3rd dock as well. But the difference is huge when you just compare them side by side. BacT only just adding his 3rd dock, whilst Viper already has his first fire galleys out from 3 docks at a time.
Yeah, it's a great point. Those fire galleys are going to head toward ACCM. ACCM only with 2 docks, and he's just now about to hit feudal. So he is actually quite a bit behind the Viper's time. He's going to be queuing 2 fire galleys, but of course he's going to need more than 2 to take on Viper, who's sending 3 right now, and might be sending 3 more in a moment. So the fishing eco from ACCM here is going to be pretty much totally disrupted, I would think, for at least a little while.
Yeah, and ACCM built a lot of ships as well. He's got 3, 6, 7, 8 fishing ships out right now, which is pretty. It's a lot of ships for him to potentially lose. By the way, Nupford, do you have some dropped frames on OBS, or is it just me going robot? Okay, so apparently Nupford is also dropping frames. I mean, do you ever drop frames normally, or is it just the fact that it? Never. I never drop frames normally either. So it's super weird, isn't it? I literally don't understand. Is it maybe the fact that we're in TeamSpeak? Are we getting DDoSed maybe? I don't know. just saying, it could be something like that. I'm unsure, but okay. Viper coming in with the fire galleys right now. Hitting those fishing ships, and we've already seen 2 go down, and Viper's not going to stop there. He's completely ignoring ACCM's fire galley at the back, and he's just going straight into the fishing ships here. Doesn't even care if he loses his fire galley. He just wants to take those fish off the map, and he knows he's far enough ahead that he could sacrifice some fire galleys to do it. It's totally worth it, and ACCM here will lose quite a lot of that food income because of those ships going down.
Yeah, interestingly, Viper's second barrage of ships is going to be galleys. There's just going to be a couple more galleys here coming in. He's going to transition away from fire ships. On the other side of the map, we're seeing BacT actually getting the jump a little bit here on DauT. He's going to have fire galleys headed north, but DauT will have a sufficient navy to defend himself. So those guys probably not going to have a meaningful battle just yet.
Yeah, 1 sec. Okay, great. So I just had to tab out real briefly. So, okay, we're back in. And yeah, at the north of the map, as you say, I don't think there's a huge amount going on just yet. But I noticed BacT very quickly transitioning into the galleys. I do think this is the best way to do it, to be honest. I think getting the galleys out quickly and then getting fletching, they do work very well in combination with the fire galleys. And having that combination of fire galleys and standard regular galleys together, probably the most powerful combination you can make. Good start by BacT, though. He's already pushed out away from a wood line on the left side, and that's something that's really valuable with those galleys as well. The fact that you can get into those wood lines and start harassing the villagers there.
Yeah, DauT so far, though, has kept his fishing eco safe to the north, and he's fighting in that channel to the south. It does look like BacT will maybe eventually start to push on him, but of course, the defending player here, DauT, will be reinforcing from several docks back at home. So that is a hotly contested area. If you look at the resources, it seems like DauT might be just a fraction out ahead. Actually, maybe a noticeable fraction out ahead of everybody. He might be the first player up to Castle, and that would be really consequential for his team.
Yeah, getting to the Castle Age is huge, and obviously Viper gets that 15% reduction on cost as well, plus the fact he's close to 600 food right now and 250 gold in the bank. He's just a master of balancing his economy. I also like the fact that he's added in quite a lot of fishing ships as well behind this aggression, because he knows he had the advantage and he wasn't going to be pressured back at home. So ACCM down to like 6 fishing ships, Viper up at 7, but he hasn't lost any either. So I think Viper here, after clicking up to the Castle Age and hitting the Castle Age, is going to take a very big advantage in the south now.
Yeah, and this might be something to expect. ACCM is a very good AOC player, but I think Viper on the water is probably somebody you would expect to win toe-to-toe. DauT and BacT, I think, are a little bit closer to each other's level. Maybe that's just my opinion. So maybe not a terribly surprising result so far. But like you said, the Viper here seems to be in a really good position. He's winning the small battles. And so far, so good for the yellow player and his teammate, DauT.
Yeah, DauT also holding his own in the top. I mean, it doesn't look amazing up here. It does look like BacT has a small advantage at the moment, but it's not quite the same as the last game where DauT was completely wiped off the water. BacT is a great water player, but, you know, DauT's not going to let it slip this time around. And since he's got the defender's advantage, he should be able to hold on for some time. I also expect that DauT should be going up to the Castle Age before BacT. If you look at his resources, he does have a little bit more in the bank. And as that is going to be the case, I expect DauT will be able to push BacT back once he does get to the Castle Age himself. Meanwhile, Viper's taking a fight in the south, and he's doing this before he hits the Castle Age, but I think he's just confident that he can take this anyway, just down to sheer advantage in numbers right here.
Yeah, it is a surprising fight because he soon will out-tech ACCM pretty greatly. But he does have more ships, so I guess he's not reluctant. He's not going to be the one who blinks in this staring contest. Continued galley production from Viper. Soon he will be upgraded, and we'll see him continue to push on ACCM. ACCM adding in a couple demo ships here. A couple of good demo shots might help him even the score, but the tech disadvantage is going to be really, really a big deal very shortly.
Yeah, it's very hard to hit the demolition raft shots as well against galleys because the demolition raft has such low HP, the galleys can take it down before it even gets close, and then you've just thrown those resources away because if the demolition ship does nothing, then it's as good as nothing. So Viper, with the Castle Age tech coming in so quickly compared to everyone else, he will have the ability to potentially push ACCM all the way back. BacT on the north side, though, still pressuring DauT pretty hard. I think DauT's on the way up to Castle now as well. He's at 65%, whilst BacT is up at 40%. So it's going to be a much smaller difference up there, and I think BacT will be able to keep his advantage outside of DauT's docks. ACCM, though, also not exactly falling so far behind. He does have the Castle Age upgrade coming in, but he is going to have a hard time defending against these war galleys from the Viper now, especially on things like his wood lines, where Viper can just get behind from the shore and kill so many villagers gathering the wood here.
Yeah, I like the decision here from Viper. He's going to split his navy in half, and he's going to start looking, probably, like you said, for some stray villagers to maybe, or fishing ships to maybe harass. He's not going to stand and try to kill one dock, because killing one dock would basically give ACCM the time to get up and tech his way up a little bit more. So I like the fact that Viper's splitting a few ships to the north of ACCM's base and he is going to find a fresh, juicy wood line relatively soon with a couple of ships.
Yeah, exactly. And disrupting ACCM's wood income right now is such bad news for ACCM. He does have 200 wood in the bank, but those boats are expensive, you know, and if he's not got the wood, how is he going to make the boats to defend himself? It's such a crucial part of his economy, and it's always going to be so exposed on migration. Quite a few villages going down actually on that northern wood line, as ACCM is now entirely pushed away from wood. He has just 2 villagers gathering from wood right now as he tries to rebuild the lumber camp in a safer position. But he might need the help of BacT. But saying that, BacT is also not having a good time in the west of the map. He has just upgraded to War Galley, but DauT's pushed him all the way home now as those War Galleys get taken down by DauT's superior numbers. Well played by DauT, and Viper and DauT now taking quite a solid score lead and quite a big advantage in this game.
Yeah, it's looking really good. Hopefully we'll see a single ship to harass DauT's wood line. That's not nothing. That's actually kind of a big deal. He's taken away a wood line from the blue player, and BacT just can't carve any ships away from his navy because he's so having so much difficulty fighting DauT. There is a transport ship on the map here for BacT. We'll have to see what's inside that ship, but it looks like he's going to start focusing on landing and building up on the central island.
Yeah, landing going across from BacT right there. We've also got Viper's scout in the center as well, and villagers. So both players looking towards the middle here. We see a TC coming up for BacT in the center, but on the water, Viper at the south looking super strong at the moment. We've got some demolition ships coming in from ACCM. Will he be able to get some big hits and turn this around though? Because they really do have the potential to completely swing the battle, and I think Viper's got to be very careful of the demolitions as they close in. And Viper's actually going to be pushed away now because of those demolitions coming in and causing him to, I guess, lose out in the micro fight, in the micro war.
Yeah, really interesting twist that ACCM's able to make a push back here at the Viper. Viper getting a little bit too many goals under his belt, just carving ships off to do every single thing. And now he'll be retreating along with his fishing fleet. But we'll see. I think he'll be able to regroup and push back against ACCM. In the center, BacT has dropped TC on a stone pile and a nice wood line. It seems to be a decent location. The Viper is going to send his villagers almost to the dead center of that island and try to maybe drop a TC relatively soon as well. So 2 players building up on the central island. DauT seems to be winning on the side, on his and BacT's side with Navy. Viper and ACCM still squaring off. A really epic naval battle in the eastern part of the map.
Yeah, what I really like about this as well is the mix of both fires and war galleys in this fight too. Viper adding quite a few more fires now, and since he's now defending at his own docks, he can reinforce quicker, meaning that ACCM has kind of run out of steam and he's had to retreat back. And I'm a little concerned for ACCM because what is he going to retreat back to? He really doesn't actually have that many boats left anymore. Viper now able to really push this one, and yeah, I feel like in the middle, this is where things are going to start hotting up as well, as it looks like the players are about to find each other. Viper's scout just spotting out BacT's villagers there, and he's going to know exactly where BacT is.
Yeah, I'm a little bit, you know, it's easy to watch this game and talk about different things, but I'm a little bit upset that Viper tipped his cap there, brought his scout close enough for DauT to see. For a moment, the Viper could see DauT, and DauT couldn't see Viper. But nonetheless, those 2 guys do know each other's presence, and it's about to go down on the central island. Obviously, those 2 players are going to want to pressure one another there. Especially BacT needs to be able to basically reboom his eco, or start to boom his eco on the central island after losing water.
My concern right now is, like, if you look at the populations, you see that DauT and Viper are about 30 population ahead of BacT and ACCM at this stage. And the water at the top has been completely lost by BacT. Since he's made this transition into the center, he's spent a lot of resources building this TC, and now the second TC as well. And that's wood that he's not spending on boats instead. As a result, he's actually lost the water up here. His villagers have been forced off of the wood in the south, and DauT looks like he'll be able to force the villagers off the wood in the north of BacT's island as well. So big problems for BacT, and if he loses these docks, he's going to have a real hard time fighting this one back. In fact, BacT has stopped all galley production from these docks, and it looks like he will shift his focus entirely to the center of the map now.
Yeah, Viper in the center, able to kill a couple of DauT's villagers with his TC. I'm sorry, not DauT, BacT. BacT tried to run in to deny that TC with hand-to-hand fighting with villagers, and he just couldn't get the job done. Blue player BacT going pretty heavily onto stone. I think he wants to castle that area
Oh,
right
wow.
next to his TC. Go ahead.
It's on. It's over. It's done. It's GG.
Wow.
Yeah, back to an ACCM calling it as they get surrounded basically by a superior number of galleys, and I think in this kind of position, there's no real way back for them when you're completely surrounded at your home island. You've lost a huge amount of your economy. So many villages going down to those war galleys, and especially for ACCM, I think he was in a much worse position because he hadn't even got a TC up or a lumber camp in the center yet. So he had no fallback once he lost access to the wood on his home island.
Yeah, and BacT could also see that that DauT had just landed. He's dropping a TC monastery on the central island, and that's going to effectively sandwich him between Viper and DauT. And BacT there just really would not have a chance to win the center. And as you said, they already lost the water. There wasn't a whole lot of hope left. So we'll see those guys GG out. We'll see game number 2 go to Viper and DauT, and we'll see a third game to decide this series.
Yeah, it's 1-1, and I'm excited to see the third game. I think the map is going to be Steppe, which is the first time we'll have seen that map in the tournament. But Nilpford, I guess, can do his analysis now, and we won't even need to throw it over to him because he's already here.
At the moment, I'm doing the dashboard so that people can see it a bit better. Yeah, obviously, you saw DauT did a beautiful job here. You always need to mute yourself if you try to type during the game. DauT did the backdock and had the guys, mute yourself when you type. Sorry. DauT did the beautiful backdock, did a lot of fishing. You can see no fish left on all this area, and he fought very much back in his own base, but Liga was just so much better. The Viper, Italian, fast up, quick execution, and went for 3 fire galleys, and after 3 more fishing ship, so much aggression into the face of ACCM, and very convincing quick win here. That's it for me, and I'm handing it over back to KillerB.